they do have Zoom hours available. The AAC is another source of assistance on campus. They are hyperlinked on the slide. We have their fall hours, testing times, and contact information here on the slide for you. The LTU library is also available to you for citation assistance. We know these things can be really tricky. We have what's called a library guide or LibGuide available for you on citing sources. It's hyperlinked there on your slide. And what's really important to remember is the Writing Center, the Tutoring Center, and the library all have a different focus when it comes to citations. Your library is primarily there to help assist you with locating citations, how to help you find research for your topic, for your class assignment, for your life, whatever it is that you might be looking for. We can take your citations and help you find that research or help you find research for your product. And then the Writing Center and the AAC are there to assist you with formatting your citations and synthesizing your findings or pulling all those citations together to make a statement and a piece of writing to turn in. All right, so what actually is a citation? We keep talking about these. And in library land, a citation is really referring to a piece of work, an article, a book, a dissertation report, and one that is produced by a particular author, editor, or composer, and it clearly identifies the document as a unique source, and it tells you where to find that. So it's like an address, if you will. You can take your citation and look for where that actually lives in writing. And some other things to remember about citations are the frequency at which it is cited, so how often you see other authors or other resources use this material can be a measure of how important it is in the research. Citation formats will vary from field to field, but generally it includes your author, a title, and a publication date. And then an incomplete citation, so you have something, you have some of the parts, but some of it is missing. That can make it really hard to identify or to find. Sometimes we can't find it, but usually we can. It just takes more time. So why do you cite, right? You never talk to your friends and say, oh, last night I watched Friends, season 5, episode 2, minute 10.11, and Rachel said blah. Nobody talks like that. But in academia in the United States, we do, because we value intellectual property and research and discoveries of others, so that's why we cite. It helps you give credit for thoughts and ideas that other people have produced. It provides evidence to your faculty that you did a thorough job of research while writing your paper. It adds authority to your arguments because you are quoting experts in that field. It helps readers find more sources for information, and it really helps you to avoid unintentional plagiarism, and nobody wants to do that. That's not a good thing. So that is why you cite when you are writing. So MLA and APA are two citation formats that most of us are familiar with, but there are differences, and why are there differences? So MLA is for the Modern Language Association, and APA is for the American Psychological Association. So they're two different organizations, and they have their own citation styles. MLA is more humanities and related areas, where APA is your social science, and science is the key word there. MLA focuses on who wrote, who did the authorship, who's responsible for that information, where APA focuses on the date, and that's your main difference. MLA can have historic research. In science, you always want to look at the most current. So when you're exploring these two different types of citations, you will see that where they put the date is very different. MLA is for ease of use or ease of presentation, where APA is more for comparing research. And students often learn MLA first. It's thought of as being a little easier. APA comes later and can be a little more complex. So if we look at how those two organizations might cite a book, in MLA, the author comes first because authorship is most important. And again, in APA, you see the name of the author comes first as well. But the next line is where it's different. MLA cites the title, right? What is this piece of something called? Where APA says, we want to know when it was written. So if you look at the citation examples at the bottom, you have in-text for APA and MLA and works cited or your references page. You'll see that APA always mentions the date right up front, so you can compare and contrast when something was written and how relevant it might be to current day research. Any questions on that? So it'll help you when you find these citations. If you see the date up front, you're going to know, oh, that's an APA citation. This is probably science-based. If you can't tell from the title, which sometimes you can't. If you see the date way at the end, you're like, oh, that might be MLA. This is probably historic or humanities or literature-based. And maybe I need something scientific, so this is really outside of my scope of research. That's where it can be helpful. Okay. Next, we're going to take a look on how to find citations in TechCat Plus. TechCat Plus is the library catalog here at LTU, where you can access most of our holdings. And this is right up front on our website. TechCat Plus is hyperlinked at the top of the slide. And you'll see on the search field box here that you have tabs for everything. You have tabs if you're doing specifically a book search, an article search, a video search, or journal title search, and we will come back to the journal title search a little later on our citation adventure. This one is set up now as a keyword search. So I did a search. You see at the very top, and I almost, do you want to be a Vanna, Suzanne? Okay. We're going to have a Vanna here because I shouldn't leave the microphone. So can you point up there too? Yes, it says SU colon. That means a subject. We're doing a subject search. And I think it's really exciting because it means we are looking for articles that are going to be specifically written about ion batteries, or books, or videos, or journal titles that are about ion batteries. And on this landing page, we have a whole host of goodies. We have found a citation. Suzanne, can you point to the author for us? There we go. There's the author. When was this one written? In 2023, so that's fairly new. You have a summary there. It tells you a little bit about the content. And then very helpful underneath, we have subject headings. And subject headings are hyperlinked, so you can click on those and it will take you to articles that are about lithium-ion batteries or rechargeable batteries. Or again, the next one says lithium-ion batteries. Can you see the difference between the first and the third line? And you can shout out because we're not quiet librarians. We've both been shushed in here before. Anybody see the difference? The first and the third line, they both say lithium-ion batteries. There's one small difference. Come get pizza. Sign in and come get pizza. Suzanne, point out what the difference is. The first one has a hyphen. Wow, thanks, right? So different articles, different authors, different journals may or may not include a hyphen. You may have a small difference in spelling. You may have a different spelling based on where the article was written. Like in Britain, they will spell color with a U, C-O-L-O-U-R, where in America we don't. So you might find small differences in how those things are written.
Subjects, not just a brief mention.
Yeah, thank you. Good point. Very good point. Yes.
The terminology and the hyphen matters.
Yes. Suzanne, can I get to this in full text from this page?
Yes,
you can. How could I do that? Ta-da! View PDF. Click right there. It'll take you all the goodies inside that item. So this is actually a book, and we know that because there's an image of the book. That is almost always correct. Every once in a while you'll have a glitch in the system and it is something different, but this is a book. And so let's say that this looks really good to me, and I have some options up on the top where I can save it. That means I create an account that is unique to me, and I save it in my account. I can share it with Suzanne. Where would I do that, Suzanne? Ta-da! The share button right at the top. And then I can cite it. We have the option to cite right directly from the catalog, so it's very helpful for you. But I ran into a small problem as I was trying to pull this presentation together, and that was when I clicked on Cite for this article, I got an error message. That was kind of upsetting, but let me tell you why it happened. I get this error message at the bottom that says the service is unable to provide a copy and paste citation. And the reason is that this item here is coming from a vendor or a publisher that is outside of the United States, and they don't always include citations with their records. And then our system can't pull the citation because it doesn't exist on the record for this item. So if you find something like this and you are needing help with citations for it, you can come and talk to us. You could also talk with the AAC or, again, the Writing Center. So to give you an example of how it works when you click on citation or click on cite from a record and it works the first time, I looked up cats in Australia, companion and killer, because I thought, wow, that's exciting, and if nobody's listening at this point, they are now, right? So killer, cats, and companions. Anybody in here own cats? A couple of cat owners? Yeah, good deal. I have what, pseudo cat ownership? I don't know. Yeah, okay. I have pit bulls in my house, but okay. I can select a citation style, and it will tell me right there at the bottom that I do have to be responsible in my usage of these citations because it could be missing some data, there could be an indentation error or something wrong with the formatting, and that's because they're machine generated. They're not done by hand by actual people, so every once in a while you'll find an error, but it's pretty uncommon. Select a citation style. I have many to choose from. APA, 7th, MLA, 9th. So your professor might tell you that you have to use a certain edition. And then when I generate those citations, I get MLA at the top and I get APA at the bottom. Do you see any errors? Any citation enthusiasts out here that know MLA and APA right off the top of their head? Suzanne? Do you see any errors? I found 2. Yeah.
With capitalization.
Yeah.
It's one.
The APA title of cats in Australia.
Yes, but what's wrong with Australia?
It's not capitalized.
It's not capitalized, right. And then there's one more capitalization in there. Do you see it? That's a tough one. It's really a tough one. And it's easy for Suzanne, well, it's easier for Suzanne and I because we work with these things all day long. But in APA, Australia needs to be capitalized because it's a proper noun. If it wasn't a proper noun, we wouldn't capitalize it. And then you have a colon. So anything coming after the colon in APA, that first word needs to be capitalized. So you do have to have somewhat of an awareness when you copy paste these things to know what you're looking for to make sure that there aren't any errors.
But the K for killer would remain lowercase.
Yes.
Because typically all the other words are.
In APA,
Yeah.
lowercase in the title. It's a little tricky, but we did have students come in about that after the colon where their instructor had caught it.
Oh, yeah? Good deal.
Oh, and the insert.
I didn't, because, yeah.
I distracted you. I went right.
No, it's good.
So this is another thing. You would be
If you copy and paste this into your works cited page or reference page, you're going to go back to your article and grab that DOI or URL to pop it in there.
And another thing on these is that we're just showing you the general MLA and APA style. Your professor might want you to do something radically different. In that case, you have to do what the professor tells you to do, even if it doesn't necessarily line up with the style guide. Okay. And again, too, I've mentioned the Writing Center, the AAC, and the library. Your professor really should always be your first point of contact if you have questions on these kinds of things. Okay. Moving on. Citation chaining. Has anybody heard of citation chaining? No? Okay. So this isn't really about the grammar, but it's how to use citations. And there are 2 ways to use citations in gosh, that's hard. Citation chaining. There we go. The first one is backward citation chaining. Wow, okay, you get to say the next one, Suzanne. And that's if you have an article and you flip to the end and you have either your works cited page or your references page, you're going to look through that list. You're going to comb it and see if you find an author that comes up again and again. They might be one of the prominent researchers in your field. or you're going to look at the titles or the date of publication and start evaluating that information and see if there are some things there that look interesting to you. And backward citation chaining is done to learn what has been said about your topic and to identify key works related to your topic or your subject of research. Okay? Forward citation is different because I said it. I didn't stumble. Yay me. Okay. That forward citation chaining will allow you to explore new findings, and that's where you're looking for the author or a journal publication that uses your original article in the future. So they're building off the research you've already found. So backward citation chaining, we'll start there. What's been said, right? We're going back to see what has already been said. And again, you're going to look at your works cited page or your references page in the article that you found relevant for your assignment. You're going to identify your articles that look relevant to your topic. You're going to identify the article title and the journal title. And then you can pop on in to TechCat Plus, which is the library's catalog. And you can search by the new article title first. So you're going to type in or copy paste that article title and see if you can find it in our catalog. And if you don't find it, again, you can ask us for help, but you can also try searching by the journal name in the journal tab. Suzanne, could you Vanna to the journal tab, please? There it is on the far right. And you can use the journal tab to find access at LTU through another source. Most of what we own, most of what you have access to here at your LTU library is available through TechCat Plus, but sometimes you hear of things like digital rights management and it comes down to money, and not everything is allowed to be put into the system, so not everything is here. Most of it is, but not everything. So I found a citation that I kind of liked, and I had to look at the information here. Suzanne, could you please point out the title of the journal, please? Here it is. The Journal of Clinical Pharmacy and Therapeutics. That's the title. That's important. It tells me where this information can be found. And the really important thing next is in APA, it's the date, because clinical pharmacy and therapeutics would not be humanities-based. It's science, right? So the date is December 13th, 2022, located down there on the bottom. This gets a little complicated. It's okay if you don't remember. At the end of this, I want you to think about when you're doing your research in the future, oh yeah, I remember they said something with using citations, and I don't remember how to do that. I better go ask a librarian for help, okay? And that's when we'd be so happy to see you and help you with that stuff. So, okay, Journal of Clinical Pharmacy and Therapeutics, and it's published in December of 2022. I'm going to go into our Journal Titles tab with that information, and I'm going to change the drop-down to title, and I'm going to type in Journal of Clinical Pharmacy and Therapeutics, which I can say with no problem. There we go. And I find it. Yay. Okay, at the top it says TI:, that's for title, Title of Clinical Pharmacy and Therapeutics. And it tells me that we do, in fact, have that at LTU. We can access that journal. Suzanne, can you point to that, please? Access journal, big red button. Push it. Let's see what happens. And we get a list of all the different places at Lawrence Tech Library where you can find access to that journal. There are 4 different access points. The first one, the date is 1997 to present. So if my journal article that I'm interested in was published in December of 2022, can I access it through source number 1? Raise your hand if you think yes. Sam, what do you think? Oh, yes, he's correct. You can, because 2022 is between 1997 and present, right? Make sense? Yeah, okay. What about the next one? If my access starts in 2023, can I access it there? My article is from 2022. What? No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. How about the third one, 1998? My article's in 2022. Can I get into it there? Yes, I can. And the fourth one also is 1998. Right, good deal. Okay, any questions? A little clunky, but it's another way to access information. So, okay, let's move on to forward chaining. And this is where you explore new findings. So you have your article, and you want to see what other researchers have used this article to verify their own research. So how is this now being used in the future? There are 3 different ways. We have a product called Scopus. There's Google Scholar. How many of you have used Google Scholar? Quick raise of hands. Just one? Okay. So, two. Okay. Thank you, Suzanne. And then other databases here at your LTU library. So when using Scopus or some of these products, you can use the author's name, and that can be a little tricky. Sometimes you have different spellings or abbreviations, so you could have John H. Smith versus John Smith. That could be the same person. It could be a different person. You might have John H. Smith at Lawrence Tech, or you might have John H. Smith at some random university. You can find author affiliations, so what company or what university they are working with. You can find that information generally in the article, and that will usually mention which university or company the professor is from. You can have the same name from different universities, right? And again, it might be the same person or a different person. So if that comes up, you can check the university's staff directory. You can check Amazon author pages, LinkedIn, and you can determine if the research is on the same topic or if it's on something very different. So you could have John H. Smith doing ion batteries and John H. Smith doing cardiac arrest. So there's a very different topics. And then authors generally can co-publish papers with the same cohort of researchers. So you might find the same group of authors over and over and over again, and that could be another clue that the author you're looking at is the same person. So again, it's Scopus. It's a database that we have here for you at the LTU library. And how to get there is to go to the A to Z databases list on the library's homepage. Go under S and then look for Scopus. And I just found an APA citation for cardiac arrest. We have a lot of heart health issues in my family, so I thought that would be interesting to look into. And I have a number of authors there. I have Rab, I have Kern, Thomas Holland, Henry, McDaniel, Dickert, Cigaroa, Kidney, Ramy, etc. And so out of those, I picked Kern. Kern is unique. It's short. It's easy to type. And so I thought I would start with that one. And I used Scopus to find information on the author and found that his name is Carl B. Kern, and I wanted to see what new research is using his findings. So I went into the article to find out what affiliation Carl B. Kern has. So when I would find other Carl B. Kern names, I would have a better clue of identifying which one I was actually looking for. So in the article, here's an example of affiliation. It tells me that Dr. Carl B. Kern has a little cross next to his name. And if I look under the list of affiliations, the little cross is for University of Arizona. So now I'm in Scopus. I've done my search for Carl B. Kern, and I get a list of 3 different Carl Kerns. I have Carl B. Kern, Carl Gunther Kern, and Carl B. Kern again. And the first one mentions that Carl here is affiliated with the University of Arizona, and he has 302 publications. He's a busy person. So I'm looking at choice number 1 because it's from the University of Arizona. When I go in and look at his name, I have found a new article that uses his research. And this one was written, Suzanne, can you point at the bottom? It's written in a journal called Resuscitation. It was written in 2023, volume number 186, and then the next 6 numbers are a unique identifier specifically for that article. I had to look that one up because that was new for me. I didn't know what that was. But this article too, even though it was written in May of 2023 and we're now in October, this new article has already had 13 other articles cited. So Scopus helps you identify writings from an author, and it tells you how many times it was cited in other literature, and then you can look for those articles to find that new research.
May I mention something?
Of course.
This unique number was new for me too.
And it has to do, the way I understand it is, because many, many articles are published only in an online journal now. And instead of saying, oh, it's page 162 to 192, though that journal article itself, when you download it, went through it, you just have page 1 through, what was that, 30 pages, 1 through 30. But this number finds it in this edition, this volume number. So if your instructor's asking you what page numbers was it on, this kind of substitutes for the page numbers for an online article, is the way I'm understanding it.
Thank you for explaining that. I wasn't sure about that one. Thank you. The collective brain. So, okay. So I know this was confusing, but it's another way. It's something that Suzanne and I get into quite often because we like to go down the rabbit hole on research. So this for us is like super cool stuff, and we'll probably talk about it for the rest of the afternoon. But that might not be where you live, and that's okay. So when you get to this point, if you're kind of confused, that's okay. Come and ask us for help. That's what we're here for. So the next option is to Google Scholar, okay? And we learned that maybe 2 or 3 of us use Google Scholar, right? I didn't want to mention Google Scholar first, even though it's a lot easier to use, because there have been a lot of issues actually with Google Scholar and credibility. They've had a lot of things in their results when you search for something that have been plagiarized, and they don't tell you what they identify as quality research. They don't make that information public. So we don't know how they are determining through their algorithms, right? They don't have a human editor working on this. We don't know how they determine what goes in and what stays out. So you have to be careful when you're using it. But Google Scholar can be helpful. I've linked out to Google Scholar there at the top. And if you haven't done so already, you can set your computer to look for items, or identify items, that are owned here by LTU. So when you find it through Google Scholar, you will not be prompted to pay extra money to look at that. So you want to go to the hamburger menu in the top left, then click on Settings, click on Library Links, and then when you get to the search field at the bottom, you want to start typing in Lawrence Technological University in search, and it will give you the 2 options at the bottom, Lawrence Technological University, find it, and ProQuest. You want to make sure that both of those are clicked. And when they are, articles that you have access to here through the library will be identified. So here's how that looks. I made an error yesterday, and there are differences between these 2 screenshots. The first one tells me I have a title, right? And then it says there is HTML available through ScienceDirect. And the second one, again, it's the same title, and it tells me it's available through ScienceDirect, and it also tells me I can find it at Lawrence Tech. See that? So somehow my computer dumped my LTU search options. So when I was clicking on the first citation, I was prompted by a paywall. They wanted me to pay money, and I'm like, I'm not paying money. I know we own this. What is going on with my computer? And I found I had to go back in through Google Scholar and re-add Lawrence Tech to make sure that it would tell me that I had access to it here and that I could click right into that article from that heading. Can you tell me on here, it gives you information how often this article has been cited. Does anybody see that on the screenshots? It's been cited 16 times. You see that down at the bottom, Suzanne? Thank you. So, so in Google, it's a little easier, right? You type in the title, you type in the author's name, and it will tell you right away how many times it's been cited. Okay. Other databases that are here and available for you to use at the LTU library, we have several of them. They will also give you cited by statistics. So again, that's your forward changing. You have your original article and you want to see how it's been used in future research. These databases all have metrics to help you identify that. Some of them can be a bit tricky to find, so when you get to that point, again, please come to us with your questions so we can help you. And if you have questions on anything library or campus related, come visit us down here. We're open 9 in the morning till 9 at night. I'm sorry, till 11 p.m. at night, Monday through Thursday. Friday is 9 to 6, and Saturday and Sunday are 12 to 5. You can call us anytime. We have our email listed there, and then we have chat located all over our website, but on the home page we have it hyperlinked here in these two areas, okay? And I guess that's all I have. Suzanne, do you have anything that you would like to add on citations?
Not citations, but on some things that are coming up. Do you want to tell about the things that are coming up?
No, but Suzanne's gonna do some promos here. There you go.
Okay, so one of them is mentioned right here on the, you get to be the Vanna White now. On the screen there, we have a database deep dive on material connection. They just updated the page for that and all the information and how to use it. So we have on Monday at 12:30 right here, our librarian Stephen Kish will be teaching people how to use material connection. Yes? Oh, well, it's for a lot of different fields. I know that we had an engineering student come in looking for things about cast iron, and we looked something up in there. So anybody who's using different materials, wanting to know different things about the properties of the materials, that works with COAD also for interiors and architecture. Could work with biomedical. Materials would be very important there. And there might be some other fields too. Let's see, Going Global, November 13th, about careers. That one's coming up. November 6th is CINAL for nursing and allied health. But later this week, tomorrow night, you might notice our spooky decor in various areas of the library. We are going to have ghoulish graveyard readings right here in the Buell underworld at 7 p.m. until 8:30. Come on in and join us. It'll be ghoulish and a little bit frightening. And there will be snacks, soda, students from soda, so really good speakers and readers will be here doing readings, along with some other guests who will be doing readings with us. And the therapy dogs, of course. Was it last week? The last one we had here, Friday the 13th, that's when we had therapy dogs in the library, but we do have 2 more coming up, the second Friday of each month. And I think we're going to do them in the spring, too. Right here in the afternoon, 2 to 4 on Fridays. 1 Friday a month, therapy dogs. Get your cuddles in. Oh, game plan. Okay, so if we have any athletes, we want them to know to come on in on Monday. Well, we're always here the hours that we're open to help anyone and everyone. But on Mondays, we've designated a special time from 7 to 8:30. We have people from the Writing Center helping here. We also have tutors to especially work with athletes, give them a dedicated time, and librarians, of course, to help with any of the assignments that need any of those resources. Oh, and they also get study credit hours. And also athletes who are coming in, the study tables, and anyone else who needs AAC hours. Let's see, those are Monday and Tuesday starting at 8:30. After that 7 to 8:30 that we also get credit on the Monday. And then Wednesday and Thursday starting at 8 until 11 when we close. 4 nights a week. Yep. After the AC closes, come on in here. Get your hours right in this area. I think we'll have some other exciting things coming up. We have a place on our website where you can look for upcoming events. It's you see that right here, there are a lot of resources. Over here, there's a button with a calendar for upcoming events. So look there because we have a lot of new and exciting things going on in the library. Thank you so much.